Okay, so hello everyone, and good afternoon from Abu Dhabi. In case anyone's joining from around the world, I know we have a couple of people joined from the UK, and in case there's anyone else from other parts of the world, it might be good night, good morning, not sure. So hello everyone, and good afternoon from Abu Dhabi. Oopsie. In case anyone's joining from around the world, I know we have just getting some technical stuff sorted out. So yes, hello, and my name is Sona. I think most of you online would know me, but perhaps there's some who don't. And I've been a meditation teacher for the past 30 years and also a meditation student for the past 30 years. And it's been a wonderful journey of learning. And quite honestly, if I have to say what has happened in those 30 years, I would say that it's changed my perspective. And that's what this workshop is all about. How do I change my perception, my perspective, my outlook, my vision on life? They say that perspective is everything. Why do they say that? Why is that a saying out there in the world? Because the way I look at something is the way I see it. There's that famous picture, isn't there, of, I think, 10 blind people around an elephant, and each one holding a different part of the elephant. Some hold the elephant's trunk, some hold the elephant's legs, some the tail, and each one will describe a different part of the elephant based on what they can feel. And this is what perspective is all about. The way I feel about something, the way I look at something, is what it is to me. And so if I change that, then obviously I change my entire view on life. And so when people come to inner space and they might have a bit of a complaint about life and go, well, you know, this happened and that happened, this is happening, that's happening, people are like this, that, the other. Agree. The world is not a perfect place. And it's not going to become a perfect place, I don't think, in the next year or two. However, in the drama of my life and on the journey of my life, all that matters is not what's happened, but the way I see it. If I see things with the eyes of pain and sorrow and being a victim and what life has done to me, then I see it in a very different way to when I see it from the perspective of, well, whatever's happened and whatever's happening is happening for a reason. And the reason is my own growth and learning. So when I talk to life in that way, when I dance with life in that way, life dances with me. What I mean by that is there's harmony. There's a feeling of peace. There's a feeling that things are the way they're meant to be. And in that meant to be, there can only be benefit for myself. There are three beautiful words that touch my heart very deeply. One is benevolence. One is benefaction, being a benefactor. And one is benediction. I know there are three long English words. So for those who don't use English as their first language, let me just explain them a little bit better. So there's the word benevolence, and it comes from the Italian to wish well, to wish you well, to want good for someone. There's the word benediction, which means to say good things about something, someone, about life. And then there's the word benefactor, benefaction, which is to do good. And I think these three words are ultimately the aim of my life. We say, we're spiritual students, we're students of meditation. It all sounds very, out there and very important and, something very esoteric. But I would say that the aim of all of that is just the energy of goodness coming out of I, the being, the soul. So that is my aim. It's just goodness, coming to my own purest place of goodness. And so when I start to understand that, I realize that what I need to do to make this happen is to change my perspective on things. How can I wish someone well, wish someone good, when I don't like what they're doing? Oh, they're like this, and how can people behave like that? This comes out of our mouths, doesn't it? Sometimes. How can I say something good about someone? How can I praise them? How can I talk of their qualities? All I see is rubbish. How can I do good to someone when they're doing bad to me? Or the perception is they're doing bad to me. And so this is why I said perception is everything. Whatever my perception is, that will influence every level of energy that I am and that I radiate. My inner energy, the thinking, feeling energy, the speaking energy, and even the doing energy. All of it is completely ruled by my perception. So what's perception? What is it? Well, if you look at the dictionary, then the dictionary will say it's the way I feel, see something, the outlook I have. But let's understand it from a slightly deeper perspective. Let's understand it from a spiritual perspective, because that's what Inner Space Center is all about. And actually, perception is nothing but the level of my spiritual awareness. Maybe I could call it the altitude of my spirituality. So when I'm down here on the ground, my perspective is very much about there's a tree, there's a person, there's a, and I see things for what they are on that level. And all I see is what my eyes can visibly see. So basically till the horizon, or if something comes between me and the horizon, then till there. That's it. That's all I can see, just that patch. So if I raise my awareness a little bit and I go to the tops of the trees, like you're in a helicopter, what do you see? You see not only do you see a lot more, but you can see a lot more detail than what you couldn't see before. So it might help you to understand why are particular trees growing that way. Well, it's because there's a wind tunnel and it's pushing the tree that way. So it helps me to have a better understanding of something, of life. Well, let's go a bit higher in altitude and then a bit more high. What happens? It changes my entire vision on where I am in life. So change your perspective could simply mean change your position. Because as you change your position, you will see things differently. Change your GPS, but not the GPS from left to right, forward, back. No, it's the level from which you see, the angle from which you look at things. Some people call it the lenses through which I look through life. That's also a nice way of putting it. But I think it's a little bit more than a lens, because a lens can be inserted and taken out, right? Spirituality is not something I just insert for a while and I take out. No. Spirituality is what lives deep within the blood of the soul. What do I mean by that? You see, you can eat food, and I'm sorry to make this little example, but you can vomit it out. You can eat food and it can go through your entire system and not be digested. Often when I go to the doctor and they say, oh, Sona, your hemoglobin is low. And I go, but I eat an apple every day. And they say, yes, but the iron is not being absorbed. So the iron has not become part of my bloodstream. It hasn't gone through the process of being absorbed by the intestine, of being converted and then being assimilated into the blood. And so life's a bit like that. We eat plenty of things, don't we? Things happen to us during the day. We have so many experiences in our life, so many. But how many of those experiences have I actually bothered to process? Have I assimilated? Have I bothered to understand? And have I learned from? Because one of the things I've learned in the recent months, in fact, probably from early this year, it's been a big lesson, is dance with life. Life is talking to each one of us. Where life wants me to, life opens up doors. Where life doesn't want me to go, life closes doors. And I could have my own desires, and so I reject life. And that's fine. But you'll end up in a lot of pain. You'll end up in a lot of confusion. So imagine there's you and there's life, and life is talking to you. And so what happens is, if I talk to life with a positive attitude, I learn to take that which is good. Go back to those words. I learn to see which is good, speak of which is good, do what is good. But when I have conflict with life, I want to do this, and life is asking me to do this, then what happens? It creates conflict in here, it creates confusion, creates a lot of complaining and criticism in my mind. Life is always trying to place me at a very high perspective. Life wants me to see things in a way that instigates growth, that inspires me to become stronger, to become bigger in my heart. But is that the way I'm understanding it? Or am I still on the floor, on the ground, like a chicken, just picking up bits of grain? Have I learned the art of soaring like an eagle and seeing things from an unlimited perspective? So what does unlimited perspective mean? I mean, we all know the little narrow-minded perspective, don't we? I'm just assuming that those on the call are a bit like me, and we've all been through life and we've always had challenges, and perhaps we haven't understood those challenges that well. So we have that limited perspective, don't we? Why is this happening? Why me? It shouldn't really happen this way. Why are people behaving like that? And don't they understand better? Don't they know better? So there's all of this, right? But unlimited perspective means seeing things from up here. Unlimited perspective means learning to see with the highest vision possible. Learning to be the best me possible. Learning to be as pure as I possibly can be. So unlimited vision is very much about an unlimited perspective. And what creates that unlimited perspective? Well, in a nutshell, I would say one word. It's one of my favorite words on my spiritual journey. It's the word understanding. Perhaps my second favorite word after understanding is wisdom. And I think they go together. They really are hand in glove. It's not knowledge. It's not information. I think we live in an information world, don't we? I believe there's a subject out there called information technology. It's not about information. There's plenty of people who are very well read. There's plenty of people who know their stuff, you know, they're good at their subject, at their profession. But how many people are good at processing and then assimilating, digesting their life's journey, understanding how every step of my life, every tiny inch of the journey is actually to teach me, to raise me higher. Life is trying its very best to help me grow. At every step, when you feel like there's a challenge, it's almost like life is putting this ladder or staircase in front of you saying, grow, grow, grow. Don't see the challenge. You rise higher. So unlimited perspective then means unlimited understanding. What does unlimited understanding mean to you? I'm just going to stop there for a minute because I've been talking non-stop for, I think, 20 minutes. What does unlimited understanding mean to you? You're most welcome to speak. You're most welcome to write something in the chat box, but I'd like some responses, please. What does unlimited understanding or unlimited perspective mean to you? Anyone? Anyone game to write something on the chat box? I can see what you're writing. Or does anyone want to actually?
Hi, Sonia.
Hi.
And this is Tijan.
Hi, Tajan.
Hi. Can I say that unlimited understanding that you are open to every possibility?
How beautiful. What a lovely definition. I am open to any possibility.
Yes.
Beautiful, Tajan.
This is how I felt. And I had a word that came up and immediately I opened the mic, but I felt that I forgot it immediately. Then when I read it, unlimited possibility. Yeah, any
Yes.
possibilities happening, that it could be happening. Yeah, no judgment, no scripted story in my mind. Anything
Beautiful.
can happen.
Beautiful. Thank you. So an unlimited perspective or unlimited understanding is open to unlimited possibilities. Thank you. Thank you. It requires me to have no judgment, no scripted story that I'm on this track and this is all I want. This is, that's right. And anyone else who'd like to speak before I actually read through what people have written? Anyone who can speak, you're welcome.
Can I say something? It's Richard.
Please, Richard, do. Thank you.
For me, one of my favorite quotes, and I'm going to read it on my phone, is life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain.
Lovely.
For me, what you've been saying is, yes, it's raining outside. It might be wet. It might be unpleasant. We can't stop the rain. So your perception needs to be, how can I embrace it?
Yes.
Take it in and be open to a more positive response.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Richard. Yes, absolutely. While the storm's going on, if you like the rain, we'll go out and walk in it. That's a person like me. I love rain. I love storms. I love cold wind. If you don't like the rain, well, then sit inside and have a nice cup of tea or coffee and enjoy it, and watch the rain, watch the weather. Think about how all the trees are getting watered. You don't have to go out with the hose, So many good things. Yes. And if there are any trees that are weak, well, yes, they will be, knocked over, and that's okay. That's part of cleansing, the cleansing of nature. So yes, possibilities and seeing everything from a positive perspective. So Hamza says, having an open mindset. Thank you. There's another word, mindset. A growth mindset. Yes, absolutely. And Passant says, putting in mind that people are different, so their reactions too will be different. Absolutely. Pamela says, unlimited understanding needs an unlimited acceptance. Thank you. To others and to any circumstances. And another little comment from Hamza is accepting different opinions or different views. So yes, unlimited perspective is unlimited understanding, is an unlimited heart. Such a huge heart that I can accept anything and everything that is going on within me and without and on the outside. But what it needs to get to that place is going to be the effort. Excuse me, is going to be the inner work that I need to do. Because it's not going to come just like that. I can't wave a wand and say abracadabra, magic, I now have a perspective. No. You see, as we've gone along in life, life has programmed us. Life has been programming us since day one, since the start of my journey. Excuse me, everyone. I'm going to need some water. And excuse me to those who are fasting, because otherwise I won't make it through this whole call. So yes, so I have been programmed, and I am being programmed all the time. Now, when I'm in victim mode, I just accept all that programming and say, well, so be it. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm a victim to anything that happens to me in life. That is a very low consciousness. It's when I'm on the ground, just looking at whatever the ground offers, a few grains of rice here and a few grains of wheat there. And that's all there is. And it's because the understanding I have, the perspective I have on myself is that this is where I belong. My whole identity is, that's it. It's a little identity. But as my identity changes of myself, I have the ability to rise higher. But what do I need to do to be able to do that? I'm shifting my consciousness from one of being I, this body, the labels, the external me, to the internal me. No longer am I relying on all my sensory experiences, but that's all there is. The food, the malls, the shopping, all of that to make me happy. But I'm actually starting to create an inner state of being that is then allowing me to radiate into the world. I go from being a taker to being a giver. What I do need to do for that is transform. The process of stepping up in terms of consciousness, in terms of perspective, in terms of attitude, in terms of outlook, it's a process of transformation. Somebody mentioned the word growth. Growth means transformation. Growth requires change. I cannot grow if I stay the same. So for this transformation, I need to let go of the old, embrace the new. Let go of the old, embrace the new. I can't sit in a helicopter if I've got too much weight. I need to offload some weight. Then the helicopter can fly higher. Then I have to offload, then the helicopter goes higher. So what is that weight? What is it that I'm letting go of? It is any desire connected with the consciousness of my body, the consciousness of the external me, the more I identify with this is the external me, this is all I am, it's like a huge burden on me. A burden of what? Of desires, which lead to expectations, which lead to control, because I try to control everything around me, to meet my expectations, to fulfill my desires. And that control will never work forever. So it leads to a lot of disappointment. Invariably leads to anger, to greed, to a huge amount of ego, identity. And unless I can start to offload that, it's not going to happen in a day, but little by little, layer upon layer. If I can offload that, then I can start to see things from a different perspective. If I don't offload it, I want to see things differently. I can't. I can't because I'm stuck. I'm stuck with this stuff. And yet there's an inner voice that's calling me to rise higher. It's a very tricky place to be in. Everyone wants change. Everyone wants happiness in their life. Everyone wants to be bigger, to grow more. But who's prepared to change? There's this very funny cartoon that I often see floating around on Facebook. You know, it shows the king standing in his castle and all the people, you know, and they're all going, we want change, right? As people do in this world. And the king asked, yes, but who wants to change? And then there's silence. And this is usually our story in life. We want our life to change. We don't realize I've created my life. And I've created this relationship with life. I've created the perception, the perspective, the outlook on life. That is the way it is. Life can't shift until I shift. You know, a river is there for you to enjoy because you're sitting in a boat and you're going for a ride. A river is also there for you to drown in. And if you're standing on the banks, the river is there for you to be scared of, or it's there for you to enjoy, to appreciate. It's all about perspective. So what is creating your perspective right here, right now, in this very moment, for you and for me? What is it? It is the programming that we all have inside. Every person on this call is going to have a different perspective. Everything I'm saying, each one of you is listening to it differently. Why? Because you have within you this filter of your programming. And I don't know if this filter puts you at this level of consciousness or this level of consciousness. That's something that you know. You're the only one who knows that. I don't know what your perception or perspective is on anything that I'm saying or on anything in life in general. So, sorry, is everything audible? Somebody just wrote it's not audible. Can everyone hear what I'm saying? Sorry to interrupt the flow. I assume you can all hear because you're still there. There's 20 plus people on the call. Thank you, Hamza. Okay, so the point is, what am I trying to let go of? And what am I trying to adopt? What is this change about? It really is about me processing everything that's happened in my past and learning from it. So that if I look at my past, if I look at what has happened, I only see growth. I only see benefit. If that is the way I'm looking at my life, I can say that I have an unlimited perspective, that there is no moment in my past that is creating any pain, sorrow, confusion. It's not triggering any negative emotion within me. If you can get to that point, then I would say you have reached a place of completely pure perspective, perception. And we have some wonderful games at Inner Space, actually, that we play. They kind of help you to do a bit of a scan to see what's remaining in your subconscious mind. Because sometimes people say, oh, no, I'm all clear, it's all good. But actually, there's so many layers inside, you know, that we don't really know. And my subconscious mind is, I always say, it's a bit of an iceberg. So much stuff stored inside. And so I know that we use, you know, a number of different tricks, if I can call them that, which do like an X-ray or an MRI or a scan of what's going on inside you and what lies unprocessed within you. And when I can deeply and honestly accept that these aspects within me are still affecting my perspective, my perception, if I can honestly embrace those, only then can I create the process of change. If I'm not prepared to look at that, I cannot change. So to change a perspective, to give myself more altitude, so to speak, to see things differently from a different consciousness, I need to change. I need to transform my programming, my inner electrical wiring, or could I call it spiritual wiring? For that, there needs to be some very deep and honest reflection. And that is actually what meditation is all about. I know meditation to many people appears to be, oh, well, I'm just feeling peaceful. It's a process for me to just be at peace with my mind. Well, superficially, yes. It creates peace at the tip of the iceberg in my mind. But what for? Why do I create that peace? It's so that I can reflect into the subconscious mind, so that I can honestly look at what's going on inside me. It's a bit like, you know, why do you go in front of a mirror? Meditation helps me to see myself. But what do you see yourself for? I mean, when you go in front of the mirror in the morning, what do? Do you just go, oh, well, I look like I just woke up? Or, you know, my hair's just a mess. Is that all you say? Is that all you do? I don't. When I go in front of the mirror, I go with a hairbrush, you know. If I've just washed my face, I go with a towel. Somebody who uses makeup might go with the whole makeup kit, you know. So you go in front of the mirror to check and to create change. You laugh at yourself, do you, Hamza? Okay, well, that's good too. It's nice to be able to laugh. So I really need to understand that change and transformation is absolutely necessary. To create that change, I need to process everything that's stored inside me. Meditation helps me to see that. Meditation helps me to look at things with fresh eyes. Meditation helps me to be honest with myself and say, well, actually, I'm stuck here. I'm experiencing pain and sorrow here. And if I'm not a spiritual person, then I blame people and events and life for my pain and sorrow. But when I am a spiritual person, then I understand that there's something in me that is still not processed, not digested, not cleansed, not sorted out. And sorting it out and cleansing it means looking at it from a different perspective. So I'm going to ask you to do something just for a minute, small exercise. I want you to think of something, any memory in life that creates a little bit of discomfort when you go back to it. Any memory. It could be just something little. Don't take the toughest memory for the sake of this exercise, but any memory in your life that creates a little bit of pain sorrow, difficulty. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you to put on the glasses, the lenses, the spectacles of seeing benefit in that situation. And ask yourself, how did that moment in my life, that situation, that person, whatever was going on, how did that help me to grow? And if it didn't help me then, looking at it where I am today, all together in this workshop, how can I see how that situation can help me to learn and grow? Okay? Could you find something you learned about yourself? About how you could perhaps shift who you are? Maybe you can program something inside you in a different way. Now, when you look back at the same situation, you go, life was trying to teach me something. Life was putting a staircase in front of me, a ladder in front of me, saying, come on, learn, grow, live at a different altitude. But perhaps in my naivety, in my ignorance, not understanding what life was trying to do, I just felt the pain, I felt the sorrow, and I've held that with me for so long. And that pain and sorrow, it's like something undigested in your stomach. Has anyone ever had, a digestive problem where your body can't, you've overeaten? Have you ever done that? You've overeaten and then you feel so heavy and you can't, feel comfortable, and then you have to take something to help your body digest. Yeah. So this is what happens when we don't regularly process things in our lives. It's like we overeat. It all gets stored inside the subconscious mind. We feel heavy, feel uncomfortable. And then we think, oh, what can I do? I'm feeling down, I'm feeling weak, I'm feeling sad, and I can't actually make the choice to feel good either, because I've got all this stuff sitting inside me. It's unprocessed. You're actually a slave to all of that. Until I can see things, see moments in my life, see people, see situations with the lens of benefit, personal benefit. What did that teach me? How was life trying to help me to change myself? It's not about others. It's not about, oh, they should change. Oh, life was teaching me that they're a bad person. No, it's all about my own wiring, my own perspective, my own perception, my own attitude. This is why meditation is so much to do with the inner journey. So I'm going to stop there and give you a few minutes to ask questions. And then we're going to end with a meditation to help you to upgrade or to strengthen your perception. Okay, so who would like to ask, anyone like to ask a question about perception, perspective, what it is that life is trying to teach you, to share with you? Would anyone like to?
Hi, Sona.
Hi, Hamza.
Thank you so much for the lovely knowledge.
Well,
Is it perception or perspective, is it the same a way of thinking? Because I see it is the same way of thinking, of how we think, how we see things, so it's all in the thoughts, no?
it is in the thoughts, definitely. What happens, Hamza, is that Thinking is only part of what's going on inside. Along with thinking, there is the aspect of feeling. And for most of us, I think we don't realize how our feelings are stronger than our thoughts. Now, where is all that thinking and feeling coming from? How come you think differently to me, differently to everybody else on this call? Well, that's because what's behind my thinking, which is all my, latent programming, that is affecting my thinking. So perspective, perception is more than just thinking. It is the effect of all of this stuff inside me, meaning the 90% of the iceberg that you don't see, which is your subconscious mind. It is the effect of that on your life, on your thinking, on your feeling, on your energy going out. Thinking is a very small part of perception, perspective. Is that okay? Perspective.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. Lovely.
Good evening.
Good
Good evening, Mona ma'am. This is Ruxana from Kashmir. Actually, I believe that this perception and how we perceive things, it's not a matter of that very moment. I think that I think that when we say that it's my perception, or this is how I perceive things, I have been taught throughout my life, okay, this is how things are going to be, or this is how you should perceive, this is the perspective. I think this cultural thing, this everyday we do things, it is with us all the time, and this is how we perceive things, and this is our perception of certain things. But it's not necessary that that might be true. It might not be true, because it's just the way we think, we perceive things. But reality may be something else. So what I believe is that we should make ourselves strong, and we should make ourselves more acceptable. Then only we can perceive things in a better way. Otherwise, whatever we have learned throughout our life, it's always in our mind, and that's what frames our perception of things. So I believe that, you know?
What you're saying is exactly what we've all been saying, that it's not just this moment and it's not just my thinking. It is everything in my subconscious mind.
Everything,
subconscious
yes,
mind means
yes.
everything I've been taught, everything that I've been told, everything I've experienced, everything I've done, what's been done to me. But the reason I can't change perception and I can't change my perspective is because I'm not, well, some people are not prepared to look at that subconscious mind and to process and sort things out. I have to analyze every belief I have and say, is this really true? I have to look at every experience I've had and said, is it really true? Especially all the negative stuff, because nothing negative happens. Life wants us to go through every challenge and grow. You see, but if I stay stuck with, oh, it's a negative experience, it means I'm rejecting the growth. I'm actually rejecting growing. So yes, you're right. Everything you said is very true. At the same time, I think we're all on the same platform. We're all saying the same thing. It's my subconscious mind that holds all of that stuff that you're talking about. So unless I'm prepared to look at my subconscious mind and sort it out, I cannot change my perspective. It's not just about changing my thinking, because my thinking is being ruled by what's behind it, which is my subconscious mind. You see?
Exactly.
But thank you for your comments. That's wonderful. I'm so glad that you're joining from Kashmir. It's wonderful. So anyone else with a comment or a question? Otherwise, we go straight into our meditation to help to change perception. Anyone is welcome to make a comment or ask a question, please.
Hello, Sona. How are you? This is Khulud from Istanbul. How are you?
Hello, Khulud from Istanbul. This is a very, very international call. Lovely, lovely class. Thank you for
Yeah,
joining.
it's lovely to be with you again. Is since you're talking about the perspective and if we want to change what's happening now in our lives, we need to look at inside and make the changes of our perspective in order to change our thinking and
Yes.
thus change our feeling, right?
Yes.
But there are some things that like happen to us from childhood.
Yes.
And therefore how we perceived it was totally different as a child from an adult. So
Yes.
we hated few things or we loved few things, whatever. So but these things happened in the real, like in the past.
Yes.
And therefore it's somehow buried inside. So now we act sometimes and we surprise ourselves with certain like burst of anger or doing this or that, which is not us really,
Yeah.
and how can we dig inside, how can we like look for things which are buried, and do we need help or we can do it by ourselves?
Brilliant
I know.
question.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Very, very nice question, because actually all of us have things buried inside. Some people will have very deep traumas, things that are affecting their life, and they can see the effect. You might be very easily triggered by a particular situation. Like how some people, they have phobias. They look at the ocean and, they can't look at the ocean. So obviously there is something inside that is creating that feeling. But I actually believe that all of us have hidden things inside us. We all have things that are hidden in our subconscious mind that are actually affecting the way I am today. So there are two things that you can do. One is a more spiritual thing, which is meditation. Meditation helps me to look within from a very safe space. The reason why sometimes we don't want to look inside and see what's going on is because it's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel safe. It feels like a lot of emotions might, burst. And so that's why many of us don't do that. So meditation helps me to see it from a space of peace, self-love. And then it helps me to resolve the issue. Sometimes there are traumas inside us that have been there for a long time and that are quite deep. It's like a scar that's very deep. And as I mentioned earlier on the call, we have some beautiful techniques here in Inner Space Center that allow you to do like a subconscious scan to see what is still inside. Some people call this therapy. I don't particularly like to use the word therapy because it makes people think, oh, I'm psycho, that's why I'm taking psychotherapy. No, there are just activities and games. The purpose of those are to actually bypass your mind. Your mind tries to stop you from looking inside. Your mind tries to help you see things in the same old way. It doesn't want you to see the rubbish because then you'd want to change it. Then you have power. The mind doesn't want to empower you to be able to do that. So what we need to do is we need to do a scan, an inner scan, like an X-ray of what is sitting inside the subconscious. And there are ways of bringing that out and making that happen. And yes, Inner Space Center does offer some of those activities. And I'm sure there are other, people in the world who use these right brain techniques that can actually help to sort out and find out what is going on inside and what is still affecting your life today. What is still affecting the way you react and the way you perceive things today. So yes, Khulud, there are ways that are more than just you reflecting through the process of meditation. Any other questions? One last question, and then I'm going to do a meditation before we finish. So anyone with any question burning inside, something you'd like to express, to comment on or ask? Anyone? No? All happy? Okay. So let's then start a meditation. A meditation that will help me to change my perspective. that takes me back to me, the inner goodness that I am. So find a comfortable position for your body. Make yourself comfortable on the chair that you're sitting on. And in this time that you've given yourself, in the next few moments, I want you to be a friend to yourself. I want you to be your own best friend. I want you to tell yourself that there is nothing that you've done in this life that has been wrong. There's nothing that you've done in this life that has been a mistake. Nothing bad. And in the same way, nothing that has happened in life has been wrong, has been a mistake, has been bad. Just sit with this feeling of embracing everything with the arms of goodness. It's all been part of a journey of growth, a journey of understanding, wisdom, and ultimately a journey that helps me to reach a place of unlimitedness. But it all starts with the relationship that I have towards myself. So in this moment, I want you to give yourself a huge spiritual hug, as though you're embracing everything about you. Everything of your past. You embrace it, you accept it, you understand it, you love it. Let it be like life offering you that staircase, the staircase of growth. And as you accept and acknowledge and embrace your own journey, you realize that everything you are today is nothing but the best you could be. You may not be perfect. Well, no one is. But I've tried my very best. And I sit with that love for myself and love for my story, love for the journey. And accepting is the first step towards healing and understanding. And so to change my perspective on life, I first need to change my perception of myself and all that has been for me. And know that I am safe, secure, and cared for by an invisible energy of goodness. I just need to let it into my life. And I need to see things from that space of goodness. Let me open my heart and make it so big that I can accept everything that's happened along my journey until right here, right now. Because this allows me to open to the best possibilities that are to come to me in the future. And I block nothing. And I allow anything to manifest. Because I know it's only for my benefit. So feel your heart expanded. And be at peace with your story, with your journey, and with yourself. Now gently come back to the present moment. And once again, allow yourself to feel the body breathing. Then I hope you're feeling a bit lighter, a bit stronger. And I hope your perspective on life, your perception, is even just a millimeter different to an hour ago when the session started. So thank you for joining today. And I do invite all of you to connect with Inner Space Center on WhatsApp, because we're now starting to send messages, beautiful daily messages to all of you who join our channel. So please do join the Inner Space Center channel. If you don't have it, then just connect with me on WhatsApp and I can send you the link. If anyone has any private personal questions you'd like to ask, feel free to connect with me. And as I mentioned, I think a month ago, Arif and I are always, Inner Space Center is always offering retreats around the world. We have one coming up in Portugal, one in the UK, and then in July, we're going to Thailand for a retreat, which is all about higher consciousness, which is about greater perspective, greater perception. So if you'd like to join us in Thailand on a retreat to actually spend 4 days looking at everything that we've spoken about in the last hour, then please message me and you're very welcome to join. There are limited places, so it's good if you book soon. So all those who are fasting, happy iftar very soon. And to everyone who joined the call, thank you from Inner Space Center and from me. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sister Sona.
Thank you from us both as ever. Thank you, Sona.
Thank you, Richard. Thanks for joining.